Okay. I'll tell you what. Although you might have to do this for me. Can you click in there? Yeah, this Google doesn't work. Go to email. Let's see. Just type in Learning Suite for a search. Hang on. Just stop there for a minute. January 12th. Well, if I can certainly go back up, just go to UAE Learning Suite over there. Yeah, let's go there. Go to email. Oh, that worked. Let's see if I can see sent messages. Can we see sent ones? So I know some of you got it. Okay, you got it, honey? Okay. You just didn't read it. And Ben didn't read it, apparently. See, I'm picking on. Well, I had to verify the email that's listed for you guys. We can check that later after class. It would have come that day. Okay, so anyway, I was just reaffirming what the assignment was, what I wanted you to do. I'd also said that on the calendar, I looked at, let's see, was it assignments? No, where is it? Assignment announcements. Dashboard. There we go, dashboard. Okay, there we go. I basically put this in the email, and I told you that I put it on the calendar. And so, a couple things to think about for the project. I said I wanted you to come today with your reading lists, so we could talk about, you guys could share. Now, what I'm hoping, and I guess didn't happen, is that you're getting together as the research team. In other words, this is not a project you're going to all work independently. This is a group project. Okay? I want to make that really clear. And so you should be thinking about, as you're working on your reading list, what did you find? You know, see, Ben is with May. Ben calls May and asks May, what did you find? And May calls Alex and says, hey, what did you find? And you guys are talking together, you're meeting. You're starting to think about that. Okay? So my understanding is that May and Ben and Alex, too, I'm just picking on, are one group working the ADM project. Is that correct? Okay. And Alex Washburn and Raleigh and Hanif are going to work the UNA Basin project. Correct? Okay. So I'm hoping you guys get together, because otherwise it's not a team project. It'd be interesting. So I'd also put on this calendar that a week from Thursday, I want you to present your perspective. Have your perspectives written by that Thursday and present it in class, which again would be a team project, right? You guys be getting together and working on that. I'm going to have to delay that, probably, for only one reason. John is out of town that day, and my father-in-law passed away this morning. So he was 91, almost 92. It's a bittersweet moment, okay? He was eager to move on and, you know, catch up with his wife in heaven, you know. He wanted to be there. And so we've tentatively scheduled the funeral for that day, which means if the funeral comes off being that day, I won't be here. And John's going to be out of town, so John's in the Bahamas. So with neither one of us in town, I felt it wouldn't be fair to you guys to make Jeff grade it. And there's a chance that Jeff won't be here that day because his wife is due 2 days earlier with their first child, right? Second child. So she's due next week, which is why he's not going with us to Denver, because He said, I'll come. And I said, no, stay home. That's not true. He says, I'm staying. I don't want to pay you as a bad guy. I'm just having fun. So Jeff's staying here, but provided that everything's good at home and with the baby or whatever, he'll be here on that day to help work with you on exercises. Okay? So I'm not canceling class that day. I'm going to postpone the presentation of the prospectus to the following Tuesday. So I haven't updated the calendar yet. I haven't had time yet. We were dealing with things this morning. So anyway, so does that help? So try and read my emails. If they're not going to the right place, do one of two things. Either update the email inside of BYU that you want them sent to, or you can set up the email that's in BYU to forward to whatever account you regularly monitor. That's easy enough to set up when you go online to BYU. You can set up an alias or where you want it redirected to. Okay? Some of you probably already do that. I do that with my BYU email. It gets all forwarded to my Gmail account. Okay? So anyway, I'm trying to keep this current. You know, one of the engineers, I love engineers because they keep me on task. Suggested in class that maybe I should do more of this. So I took it to heart. Was it you or you? One of you asked. Was it you, Alex? Okay. You asked if I had it posted yet on. I took it as a suggestion, as a friendly suggestion. I took it as a kindly suggestion. Okay. So anyway. Oh, well, that's all right. Hey, you did well. So anyway, that's why these tasks. So if you're wondering where we are, what we should be doing, I'll try and keep them posted there. If nothing else, I'll try and be a week or two ahead. Okay? Good. So with that in mind, before we talk about your papers, I'm going to push that to the end because I'm waiting for John to get here. Because he's the carbon sequestration guru. That's been his research project. I mean, I've been on it, but I want John to be here to help you with that. So when we talk about things that you're reading or finding, that he can point you guys in the right direction. Okay? So we'll wait for that. So we're going to just kind of carry on with what you were doing. I asked you to do exercises 1.1 and 1.2, right? That should have been clear in class, but I restated up here as well. So how do we do on those? Someone didn't get done, right? Who didn't get done? Anybody not get done? You didn't get done. Okay. It shouldn't take you too long to do it. Have you finished it? You haven't finished either. Okay. Remember to capture the images and put them on your folder, right? On your desktop. And Jeff can look. So get that finished today then, right? You know, if you can. So any questions on that assignment? None? Okay. So easy enough to do? No big problems? Okay. Trying to remember the steps to get to there? That's the hardest part. So that's why if we do this, you know, as we meet twice a week, we kind of keep current on the assignments. It should start to be ingrained because you're having to do it almost every day or every other day. So what I need you to do, Jeff, is to open up. Let's get into decision space. And I'll see if I can, while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the manual that we're using. Oh, one other thing while you're bringing that up that I can work on. Okay, in the syllabus, I said here that one of the assignments, 10% of your grade was going to be based upon each of you going and finding an article on subsurface interpretation, reservoir modeling, whatever. And that you would need to present that to class. Okay? So I want to just try and pick some dates for you guys to do that. Okay? So I guess I'm going to, while you're bringing that up, I'm going to borrow part of your board here. Now go ahead and bring the, oh, you can break the screen and still work, right? Yeah, just do that. That'll work. That'll work. Is the control, it's right here. I got it. Let's see, blank, blank, blank. Come on. Doesn't want a blank. Okay. Yep. Oh. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about dates that are available in next month or two. So we have what? Today's what, 14th? Is that right? So 14th, 16th, the 21st, no. 23rd, then be the 28th. Is that right? Now, then it would be the 7th? Is that? The 2nd. Okay, 2nd, and then the 4th. The what?
The 2nd is a Thursday. The 7th is a Tuesday.
Okay, sorry, 7th, and then 9th, and then the 14th. So let's go out to there. Okay. So, I take volunteers. Pick a date. Whoever puts their arm up first gets to choose first date.
So each of us is going to present our perspective.
No, your article that you've asked to read, not the prospectus. That you'll do as a group.
So it's just like a summary of what we learned from the article?
Yep, right here. We'll choose and present upon a journal article. Okay, a journal article dealing with subsurface interpretation. There's a typo there too. Okay. Presentation should be PowerPoint format, 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. Have a sign-up sheet. That's what we're doing right now. And we'll try and do one or more at the beginning of each class. So we're kind of partway through the semester. It's time to get started. So I'm going to take this out of contention and that out of contention, because this will be the prospectus here. I'm moving that to that date. Okay? And this is no. Okay.
Which month is that?
March. Deb, how's that? Does that help? Okay, so we got Alex B. You notice I didn't write number 2. May, the 7th. I don't care. Let's see if you guys have the same date. What do you want to do, honey? The 9th. What did you want?
I want
The
the 16th.
16th. This 16th. Yeah. Okay. That would be Alex W. And you want to win, honey? 9th. Okay, Ben, when did you want? Is that, I don't have Raleigh yet either, do I? What do you want? There's the 14th, and then there would be the 16th. And you got the 16th? Okay. Boy, I'm running out of space here. Maybe I'll get someone to write that down for me. Okay. So, again, I just want you to go find an article. My hope is you go look. You'll probably look at 2, 3, 4 articles. Right? You'll find one you like, which that means now I've exposed you to multiple articles already. If you want some kind of easier, I have easier reading. You're going to get into some journals like geophysics, which are going to be really detailed math type stuff. You can back out to something like the AAP journal. I think I have one laying here. Or AAPG Explorer, which comes out every month. These are available online in our library. If you need some help, Jeff can point you, or I can. The SEG has something called the Leading Edge. I got a ton of paper copies of both these and the SEG back there that you can look at, but they're also available online. So there's no charge. They'll have a digital version. You can download it. You can grab the images out of the articles. Most of the articles you can find online. In this thing here, there's something called the Geophysical Corner. But since we're doing geology and geophysics, I'm just saying go find something and then share it. And then hopefully you found something you found interesting. So your job then is to make me interested. When I say me, I mean me. And if we're always presenting, it's Hanif. He wants to make Hanif interested, and he wants to make Alex 1 and 2 interested. But you're going to bring some enthusiasm to whatever it is you find. Okay? And that's part of your grade. So it's been in the syllabus.
So this article can be any type of subsurface interpretation. It doesn't have to be geophysics.
Nope. Could be straight geology, engineering, geophysics, a blend. Those are going to go into the 3D symposium. You're going to see a blend. Some will be more geophysically oriented. I mean, it's a 3D seismic symposium, but you're going to see geology as well.
Are USGS reports okay?
Yeah, sure. I don't care. At this point, I'm going to make it wide open. I just want something related to subsurface and what does a reservoir look like. That's really what we're getting after here, right? What is a certain formation? What are the properties? How do we characterize the subsurface? Okay? So I'm going to leave it fairly wide open. And then come share what you learned. What you think was interesting, cool. It was interesting. I've done this for years. And the geologists have always chosen almost a certain style of article. In this last year when I taught this class for the first time at the U, to the petroleum engineers, it was a very different subset. And I gave them the same journal to pull out of. I narrowed it down just to 2 points. I narrowed it down to this APG Explorer and the SEG Leading Edge. And he says, go find something. The engineers, man, it was amazing. They all found things that were very quantitative. And the geologists went and looked for things that were very, imagine if you will. Look at the rocks as they smear across the landscape. I don't know. But it was really intriguing to me to see the difference, and it was insightful. So our minds work differently. That's why that makes the world go round. Okay. Okay, we got ready to go, Jeff? Okay. Let's see if we can get it to unblank now. There we go. Sweet. So write down your date that you chose. Maybe I'll do it right here. See, Raleigh was the 16th, right? I'm just going to write M16 down here. Ben is M14. Hanif, March 9th. May, March 7th. Alex B, March 2. And Alex W, February 16th. Man, you're going to get it done. See, what's cool about that is you get to set the standard. So I always expect that first one, and usually the first one does a great job. No pressure. Okay. So, anyway, just so you know that that's what we're doing. And then the following week, on the 23rd or 28th, what did I say, the 28th, we'll do this thing here, the prospectus. So, just so you know that we are actually following the syllabus. Should not be a surprise here. Okay. Okay, so get back. We're going to get into here into well logs. And the two exercises you did basically were, one, how to make a well layout, how to display curves the way you want to display them. There's a lot of options in there. The exercise gave you just a real quick, simple approach. There's a series of existing formats that are already in there. If you want to use one of those, that's fine. Just wanted to expose you to that. The second exercise was to open something called a correlation. Is this section view here? Let's go ahead. Oh, that's the correlation view. Okay, there's the section view. And then there's correlation view. Was to generate a view in correlation. Go ahead. And to display wells in correlation view, right? Yes? No? No problems getting to here? Yours may not look like this. So which one did you choose here? Yeah, okay, so tell you right here. Why don't you, we don't need to do the layout. I just want to get a correlation view up with a set of wells. And the exercise had you bring up these wells right down in that area. Does that sound familiar? Double click on the map and just bring it up for me. And so, and if you zoom up on this area, okay, now it asked you to pick those wells. Now, in the exercises, it actually had you turn on what for this map? Have you used a well out where you turned on the well names? Yeah, okay. So why don't we turn on the well names here? Do you remember how to do that? Jeff? Someone want to tell Jeff how to do that? We can right click on a well and choose display property. There you go. Okay, and we can come over to the well header, expand well header. There you go. And grab like common well name. What did it ask you to do? I don't remember in the exercise, but common well name should work. Just come and drag it. And you can choose what you're going to put in here, what color you want it to be. Right now, let's talk about this. It's going to actually say, where am I annotating the well? And you can put the annotation at where the top of the well is. So for a deviated well, in the vertical sense, it goes down like this, right? In a map view, if I rotate that around, it'll look like a line sometimes. So top surface location, bottom hole location. So in a map view, it looks just like this. So you're going to choose where you're going to annotate it. And it's fairly common to annotate the name of a well actually at the bottom hole location. Because if I had one well pad, and imagine I've got 10 wells coming out from that, if I annotate all of those wells at the top, it'd be all over posted, and you wouldn't know which one is which. So very common to annotate at the bottom hole location. You'll often see the abbreviation BH for bottom hole. Okay? So we're going to annotate at the bottom hole, and we're going to say, okay, so now you see over here something that says common well name. And if this box right here says apply immediately is checked, as you make changes, they'll show up automatically. So now we see a well name in here. And you should have done this in your exercises, right? I hope I'm not springing something new on you. I'm just reviewing what you already have done. So you get to that point and you can choose font size and style and what we want it to be. But that's good enough. We can go ahead and say okay and get out of here. So then the exercise 1.2 actually had you select the sea wells. So this is basically a platform. This is offshore North Sea, off the coast of Norway. So they had something called the sea platform. And they drilled these wells out to there. So one started the surface, and they went off in different directions. Okay? So all we're saying now is we want to correlate. In this case, there's something called the Fankst sand. And if you go look up this field, it's called the Hydron field. We call it the Norway project out here, but it's actually a field that was developed by ConocoPhillips, actually Conoco at the time. They found it, discovered it, developed it, and then they sold it to Statoil, which is the national oil company of Norway. And so you can go look up Hydron, and there's a whole Wikipedia on the Hydron oil field if you're interested. But so the Fankst sand is one of the main producers. And so we're going to look, when you bring it up, you should have seen some pics for the Fankst. Did you see that? Anybody not see that? Okay. If you finished the assignment, you got to that point where you could see it. Okay. So Jeff, why don't we redo that exercise of, yeah, why don't we just take them all out? You right click on them. There should be a delete well, remove all wells. There we go. Okay. So if we want to display these wells, if we click in well correlation, there should be, well, go ahead. Let's go back here first. Well correlation, click in there. Now display the wells. Remember what we click on? Right up here, this thing, let's right click on that. Or you just move it again. I just want to see the photo. Select wells from map. You turn that button on, and then you go over here to your map, and if you maximize it, you can go in here and collect these wells.
Start with the one on the left.
Up here, right there. It had you start there, then it had you go there, there, and then it had you go all the way to the top. Yeah. And if you hit the middle mouse button, it should go to display. And if you double click that back, ooh, there we are. Okay, so how come we don't see anything? What have we not done yet? The well what? Speak up, Riley. Haven't chosen the well curves, or we could choose the well layout. Yeah, we want to choose the right well layout. We can assign a layout well by well if you want. We can use the gamma ray RT if you want. There's one that we made. I'm going to go back to the gamma ray RT. No, down number 6, I think. There we go. Now that assigns just that one well. You should be able to assign it to all of them all at once. I'm just trying to remember. Right here, I guess we could choose the layout right there to display. Cancel single well. That would be editing. Yeah, just click on that one. Should be able to apply it to all of them. Just right click and do them one at a time to save time here. Modify layout. Go ahead and cancel. Oh, click on the other one, gamma ray. Yeah, that's what you want. How come not coming up? Exit well layout mode. Exit well layout mode. Down, down, down. Now right click on it. There you go. Assign a layout. Same one. There you go. Specific, up one more. There you go. It's touchy. Okay. So what are we looking at? Anyone remember the curves here? Yep. The resistivity. So he used the display curve here to squish it up. In the book, they actually expand this vertical curve so we can change the scale over here. There we go. So we also want to turn on some picks here, right? So if we come over to our inventory, and there should be somewhere, leave it open. Find where the well picks are. There's our log curves we could have chosen. Where's our well picks? Yeah, go ahead and turn them on. There we go. Okay. I think this is where you probably should have got to, right? Look familiar to anybody? To those that did the exercise, yeah? Okay, good. Oh, my screen went off. I'm going to have to log in too, aren't I? No, don't do that. It just went blank. I thought we'd turn that off. Maybe when it rebooted. There we go. Okay. Okay, good. So what are we looking at? What did you guys take out of this? Getting to this point. Why are we here? I can wait for an answer.
Correlating well data is really important.
And why is it important? What are we getting at? What's the well data telling us?
Geography, I guess. Relationships laterally.
Okay.
Reservoir characterization, if you want to figure out how reservoirs are connected or pressure systems or whatever, then you're going to need to be able to correlate it.
Yeah. And so what are we correlating? What are you using to correlate? Why did they pick the banks there? Can you maximize that window for us? Let's just take up that whole screen. I don't think you need anything else on there right now. Okay. What did they correlate?
The top of perspective formation.
Yeah. So why did they think that, visually, can you see that this looks a lot like this, which looks similar to that, but it looks a lot like that. So why does this one not look really like those other three? Why might it not? Let's think about that out loud.
Less accommodation space during deposition.
So what do you mean by accommodation space?
Meaning the bed is thinner than the others.
It's thinner there. In other words, we may have had some topography, and so the sand came in and filled in some lowlands, and there was a little high spot, so it's not quite as thick there. Okay, that's one thing that could be going on. Okay, why else might you have a different looking sand there than anywhere else? That's one reason. What's another one? Possibilities. I'm not saying that I know in this case, but I want you to think geologic. To think geologic. What else might have occurred? Faulting. Yep. In other words, we had a thick sand and we faulted it. And we're only seeing part of it. That could be. That's another one. So we got faulting. We got depositional. What's another one? Come on, you geologists, help me out here. You can wait.
I've known Bill a long time. He is very patient.
Remember, 40% of your grade is based on participation. Chiming in here.
Could diaphorism do something like that, like make it thin in certain areas?
So diaphorism, what's that?
Like when mud or salt flows subsurface because of pressure that's caused by.
In other words, some of it got displaced, you mean? Maybe. Okay. What are some basic geologic processes? Got deposition. What else you got? Got burial, which can compact it. What else you got? Weathering, erosion. That's what I'm driving at. Could erosion cause that to be thinner? Okay, maybe there was a channel that came in later and cut down into it and takes out some of that originally deposited sediments. And so there's a lot of, so again, I want you, when you see something like this, I want you to be thinking geologic. What could have happened? Why is that different? Okay? It's important to not just look at it, but I always write, usually at the beginning of my classes, I got one goal at the end of the semester, and that is to get you to do what? Think. Okay? We're trying to apply in this class. This is not for me to give you a bunch of stuff for you to regurgitate. Okay? We're trying to get you to think about. So we can see that this, like I said, we can see each of these is similar, but this one is a little bit different. I'm sorry, what? Now there's a whole nother one. So here's where we think non-geologic, right? Maybe. In other words, could a different company acquire the logs differently?
Yeah, like maybe the datum's offset.
Datum's offset, different tool.
Is that not taken into account whenever the data is imported?
Not necessarily. And you raise a really good question. You're assuming that all the data by the time you get it has been what I'm going to use the term normalized. Meaning that someone has gone through operator A, B, C, and D's data and cleaned it up to make sure that curve A values are the same from company A, B, C, and D. And that's not always true. Sometimes you'll see log curves where, but that's generally going to be how they look from left to right, not so much vertical thickness. I'm pointing out in this one that the vertical thickness is different. That's probably not going to be an acquisition thing. But what if the excursion of this curve has much higher values on this log and in that well than it does on the other three? That could be an operator difference. It could be a recording difference. It may or may not have been managed. And so there's a whole set of people that usually work on that kind of stuff. The smaller the company, one person tends to carry many hats. In really big companies, there's often teams of people that deal with each step of the way and will make it look clean for the next group. So you can't always count on that. But this curve in here, these curves do look different than some of these ones on either side, which could be due to an operator difference. But nevertheless, we can pick out some of these main events. Okay? So our job is to correlate then from, and in the old days, we would have these on paper. And we would hang them on a wall. And we'd take a crayon or a colored pencil and mark them. Sometimes you'd take a ball of yarn, put a pin in the wall on well A, tie it around it, and go find that on the next one, and tie it. And then did you ever do that, John?
I always had an assistant do that.
You had an assistant do that. You're an assistant. Okay. So there's different ways to do it. Sometimes we would print them out on mylar, which is clear plastic, and we would take one log and lay it on top of another one and shift it up and down. So there's some technology in here. Did anybody read ahead? I did suggest somewhere in the learning suite that if you wanted to read ahead, that there's some methodologies, and that's what you're going to do in the next exercise. This is how to drop and drag and do what they call ghosting to try and match your picks. Okay? So before we get into how to do it, I want you to understand why. I'm trying to figure out where the top of the reservoir is, or the seal, or the source, or where the channels are, whatever it is, where the faults are. You know, that you got to understand the why before you do the what, because that's going to impact how you do it. That you understand what it is we're trying to accomplish. Okay, good. So, when we see in here this going from 1.2 to 1.4 here, we can look at this here briefly. This is about 2 paragraphs. if you went to 1.3. 1.4 here is with the curve ghosting, overlay, stretch and squeeze. So we're going to get into that here in a minute. Okay, so that was, I'm going to jump ahead here. Oh, come on. Okay, now we're doing this again. Why is my document not showing up? Now they're all gone. Let's reopen this. Okay, why are our files not reading? So I can see them here. There we go. There's our well layout. Well layout. Okay, here's our display properties. You guys should have done all that. Here's checking. Okay. This is displaying the seismic in section view. Make sure you do that. We'll look at that a little bit later. Okay. Okay. So, now, another thing you can do here in the correlation view, and this is the window that we had up earlier, Jeff, if you remember. Go back to section. We displayed all of these wells here. And this was, remember, this was our line 390 through the 3D volume. You should have had that in an exercise. We can also convert this to a correlation view. Right? You guys remember that? Okay. So, from the main menu, open new tab pull down. And we can say new. We're going to have the section view open. We're going to click on new correlation up there in the upper corner. Click on that. So now we've got two correlations. I say I want to tap it and nothing's going to happen. There we go. There you go. So this basically took all of the wells that were on our section view and popped them into a correlation. The other exercise had us open just the 4. Okay. Now you'll notice that there's a couple of wells in here. Yeah, you don't have a template applied to all of them. Somewhere we need to apply a template to all of the wells. I'm trying to remember where to do that. That's edit. We don't want to edit it. We just want to, I can't read that up there. We don't want to edit the well out. We just want to apply it to all the wells. Where do we do that? Anybody remember? Click on the selected well. There's got to be a display properties for the whole window. No, that's not it. We should have told the well layout to use. Well, however you want to do it, I want you to get the well layout up here. Get that done. Okay. So with that in place, we noticed that there's going to be some wells in this exercise. They pointed out that this well here, the 37, did not have any well curve data for it. And that's really common. You're going to have some wells that don't have any well data.
Is it not like a requirement, at least on the state level, the data block? There's no layout, so if you read the well.
It depends. In this particular case, this is in Norway.
Layout all wells in view.
Did you find it? There we go. Thank you. Okay. So there's that middle well that has no data in it. It's not necessarily required. It depends how old the well is. depends which state, which country, and which curves do you run. I think I mentioned in class last week that we have a data set. The data set that we have from Illinois for the project you guys are working, they got one well with 500 curves. It's called the pilot hole, the pH. And they drilled first well and ran a gazillion logs, plus they calculated a bunch of logs from other logs and generated this really detailed suite of curves for one well. And the other 40 some odd wells that have been drilled, oh, this is a different one. That's not the ADM. This is a different project. But it was it's in Arkansas. I'm trying to remember the name of the place. The Fayetteville Shale. So they drill the one well and it's got 500 curves. Then they drill the next 40, deviate, and they run an MWD, measurement while drilling. And they put 3 or 4 curves that they just measure while they're drilling. And that's all they acquire in the other 40 some odd wells. And that's it. They don't even worry about resistivity. They're going for gas. They know what layer it's going to be in the shale, and their main goal is to find the shale. So they only really need a gamma ray to do that. And so that's all they acquire. So it can depend. It really can depend. Okay. So you can even, so if you get a well like this in your display, and you want to get rid of the one because it's not going to help you, you can just right click on it. This is in your exercises, I think. And just say remove well data. I don't think you got it. Maybe I should write it remove well. You said move well. Just right click on it and say remove well, not move. Yeah, right click. Remove well. There you go. It was waiting for you to tell it where to go. You got an opportunity to tell it. Okay, so now we can see these picks. So now what if we want to add our own pick? Okay, say we want to pick, this sand here or something down here, or maybe we want to pick the base of that. Or maybe we don't like the picks that they've made and we want to add our own. Now remember I said whenever you create something, what are you supposed to do? Add your initials. Okay. And we have 2 Alexes, but we got 2 different last names. I love it. And if you don't like, your name, your initials, but something that's unique moniker. I don't care what it is. Okay. Oh, this is where we take our break, right, Wally? Right in the middle of class. This is a Randy Skinner thing, right?
Oh, joke time? Joke
time, but what did we talk about last week and we could do? Vanity plates. So Riley actually sent me a picture of a vanity plate. So I uploaded, you're going to have to do this for me because Google doesn't allow the touch. Click on that one. So I have a folder on my Google Photos. This is actually a picture of parking signs. I thought, man, how many parking signs can you have in one spot? I can park a motorcycle here. I can park my disabled vehicles, but then I can't park there. It's like all these weird pictures. This is at Red Rocks in Denver, if any of you have ever been out there in the Morrison Formation. It's a pretty cool place. Okay, so you're going to have to click over here oh, there we go. So here's one. Oh, can you center that up for me? This is on a motorcycle that I found. So what is that? That's to decipher it. I actually had, beer belly. So to decipher it, if you slide down a little bit, slide that whole down a little bit. The sticker he had up here, traveling beer bellies. So that was your vanity plate. Okay, next picture. So these are ones that I've picked over the last couple of years. Over 50, been there, done that, can't remember. That's me. Okay. Okay, this is a reference for you football fans. 4th and 18. Anyone know the story behind that play? 7, 8 years ago, BYU was playing Utah, and we were on our own like 5-yard line, and it was 4th and 18 with like a minute to go in the game. And the quarterback, I'm trying to remember who it was. He scrambled and got the first down, and we ended up winning the game as the buzzer, because Jimmy Harline caught a pass in the end zone. Do you remember that? I think it was Max Hall. Fourth. I thought that was a pretty cool license plate. Okay, next one. So anyway, I got that one. I have not figured out what this one is. I'm looking for some help. Where's Elma? Yeah, where's Selma? I don't know. Okay, next one. Yeah, it could be. That's what I. But it was an A, not an O. Yeah. Kick rocks. Maybe a geologist. Either that or the Rockies. Number one mom. No one mom. For Alyssa. Probably a gift. This was in Vegas. Okay, go to the next one. Oh, go back. Go back. Sorry. I like this one. No, go back. One more. The other way. Other way. The pickup truck. I just went too far. Oh, I can't do that either. Okay. 2 sets of twins. 2X twins. 2 times. That's called family. All at once. Okay. This is probably a business. It was guy had a master gardener license plate. Wood train. Okay, next one. And this was Riley's contribution. At church. Them bones. So anyway, if you find something you want to contribute, see something in the next week, send it to me and we'll put it up here. Your Nauvoo plate.
Pennsylvania used to have, you have a friend in Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
It's like 30 years ago or something. Someone had not you.
So the bottom down here, the motto was, you have a friend in Pennsylvania, but the license plate said not you. Got it. I got it. That's good. So Raleigh, at Raleigh's encouragement, we've set the stage, and the challenge is now upon the rest of you to find something to contribute. So that's your joke break of the day. There you go. Okay, we're good. See, that was just a little break. It wasn't too bad. Okay. The other thing that they're adding in this exercise is you could actually flatten on that pick. Now, do you remember how to do that? Just right-click on the pick or on the blue line, and there should be a no. There should be just a flatten tool.
You go to the top toolbar,
Is it up? Yeah, it's right up there, isn't it? Is that it? Yeah. And then there's the do and undo button. Yeah, click that. Click on that one. Yeah, there you go. So why do we flatten on a pick? Again, I'm coming back to the why, not the what, but the why. Why would you want to do that?
makes it easier to correlate.
You'd have to have a pick on first, right? Without a pick, you can't flatten it. So we would flatten after we've made the pick. Now, maybe it'll help us see some other picks, but it wouldn't know how to flatten. If the well doesn't have a pick, it won't flatten that well. But once you've made the picks, why would you want to flatten? Can you bring this down just a little bit so it's not sitting on the bar? There we go. Just make it easier. There's a pretty common practice in the industry to flatten.
it easier for you to be able to, I guess, if you flatten it along like some big boundary, like with along a big unit boundary, let's say it's like a big unconformity or something, then it'd be a lot easier to see the correlations below that.
Yep, that's one. Yep. What else does it show you? That's one. What's another? What else does it show you? Yeah, where's the accommodation? In other words, where's the topography that may be filled? Because what is the underlying assumption that when we throw a sediment out over an area, that it ends up being flat, right? That's a pretty underlying assumption that everything's going to kind of generally be flat. So we can look and see what was the topography that it filled. So as you follow this line here, we can see some variations, how this unit has changed in thickness at the time of deposition. And you can get a sense of what we call paleotopography. Paleo mean old, right? What did the topography look like back then when this stuff was being deposited into? That's one approach. That's one reason you might want to do that. And for those of you that are looking for reservoirs, you want to know, where's the reservoir thicker? Where is it thinner? How's it changing laterally? Are some of the rock properties changing laterally? Are we getting where here we have thick sand, thick sand, thick sand. Here we're getting a little bit of shale in it, Do we see some lateral variations? This one here looks a lot different than these other guys. So that helps you see some of that kind of stuff. So if we want to unflatten it, we go back up and just click on that the one to the right. There we go. And we can restore it to its unflattened. We'll do this in seismic interpretation as well. We can flatten to some seismic boundary that we've interpreted and flatten it to get a sense of what the paleo topography looked like. You can do it in both 2D and 3D. Okay, so what we want to do, I'm not going to do this right now, but I want you to understand something called true vertical thickness and true stratigraphic. I talked to you about TVD, right? True vertical depth. And we talked about MD, measured depth, right? We talked about TVD sub C. Two other terms have been thrown in this manual at you. True vertical thickness and true stratigraphic thickness. Anybody know the differences? You geologists? Okay. Can you blank this for me again? We'll do a quick draw on the board. Okay. So let's say I have a layer of rock that's kind of doing this. And I have one well that comes down like this, and I have another well that comes like that. Okay? True stratigraphic thickness. Oh, it's a black material. I was trying to get a different color. True stratigraphic thickness is that guy right there. What is the thickness of the stratigraphy as deposited? That's TST. Now, what's interesting is that my well log coming down through here, on the well log, it will show like this, right? And that thickness is going to be greater than the true stratigraphic thickness. Now, one other thing to consider is you can also have what they call true vertical thickness, which is a number like that. So this would be your TVT, and that's your TST. I see a hand there in the back.
So how do we, our knowledge of the stratigraphy, I assume, probably isn't that accurate. How do we figure out that distance?
Because in the well, so this is good. So let's go ahead and let's unblank this for a minute. We'll come to this. Because in the well, we know the curvature of the well. So if you click back over to my section view, Jeff, yeah, go to section view. Aha, okay, yeah, there we go. See these wells coming across here? We know the angle. We can use things like dip meters, and we have a tool that actually measures as the well deviates where it is in true 3D space. So with that information in hand, it's pretty simple algebraic to back calculate. You know, if you know the hypotenuse of a triangle, you can calculate, right, the other two legs, right? As long as you know the angles. And we have all that information recorded from when we drill it. So all I'd have to do is pick, okay, and we can calculate. Because that affects how much reservoir we think we have. I don't want to think that I've got that much reservoir when my real thickness is that. I can be misled. Okay? So by knowing the deviation helps you understand all of that. Okay. So if you haven't got to that exercise yet, which you weren't expected to, I just said read ahead if you want. So, and here, let's go back to the correlation view. If you go to the top up there, instead of TBD, go ahead and just click on true stratigraphic thickness. And let's slide down to see where our picks are. This is trying to accommodate for the angle of curvature of the deviated boreholes. Because otherwise I hadn't made any corrections. All I'd done was just take every well curve and posted it as if it were vertical. Okay? And try TVT, see if it makes a difference in how it looks. And you got to slide down again. Okay. So you may at times see some changes in thickness along the way. Okay? So those are the two different terms that they're trying for you to get at. Okay. So before we go out of here, I got 7 minutes left. Okay. So exercise 1.4, so what I want you to finish is 1.3, which you don't really need to worry about. But we want you to do 1.4 for Thursday and to read ahead into 1.6. You can skip 1.5. I think that's in yeah. Isn't that right? Yeah. Okay. 1.3, 1.4, and 1.6. It's in there, so if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Okay. So we're going to get you started here. So in the interpretation tab, where's the interpretation tab? On my layout, it's this guy up here. Okay. We're going to go to there. And we're going to go to well pick, click on well pick interpretation. And if you're not sure which icon it is, it's got a picture of it here in the instructions. Shows up there. Click on that. Okay. Now it should have 2 picks listed in here. Those are the ones we've already got displayed. But what we can do is actually make our own. So we're going to make a new surface. And so create, they use this star symbol as the create. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to get this nice little menu up. And you can type in a name here. Now, it says create a new surface called new surface, your initials. Whatever you want to call it. You can be creative here. Okay? Just put in a name. Right now, we'll just keep it simple. We can choose what type of surface. It says conformable. What's conformable mean? Meaning there's no gap really in ages from one formation to the next. There's no missing rock. In other words, if I have the Entrada and the Moncopi or whatever it is, that nice sequence. Conformable means it's a nice normal geologic order. Now, if for some reason there's a million years missing, this means he wrote it out and we got another one on top, we call that unconformable. Or if the rocks have been tilted and he wrote it off and have another one laying on top, we use the term angular unconformity. Okay? So we can name our surfaces like this, assuming we have some knowledge of what's going on. We're going to keep it simple. Okay? we're going to make a new surface. Okay? Then it says zoom to a couple of wells in here. Now, make sure that your pick, did you make the new one already? There we go. Okay. An unexpected error has occurred. We strongly recommend. Just say continue. Hopefully that works. Sometimes when that happens, you have to get out and get back in. Did it show up here? I can't read. Is it there? Okay, go ahead and cancel this now. Oh, it's still trying to make it. Move it out of the way if you can. Okay, there we go. Okay, so to be active, you want to make sure that that pick is clicked. You've selected it. That's the instructions are telling you right there. Active just means make sure that it's highlighted. Okay? So it's saying interpret the bottom of the upper sand body. So we're just going to zoom in on a couple of wells here. Yeah, I don't care. Just pick a couple because I'm going to run out of time. No, you want to turn that on. You just turned it off. There you go. Now go and highlight an area. That works. Come on. There you go. So if I wanted to pick the base of this sand right here. Okay. And now, and as long as I'm in pick mode. Ooh, what'd you do there? Do not add. Just go ahead and click right there. Say add. So just added my pick. And he's going to pick one right there. Oh, you must have added it a couple of times there. Okay, you get the idea? Follow the instructions. Okay, it's going to go through some other things that we haven't had time to go over, like curve ghosting and that kind of stuff. But I'm about out of time. I brought a clock. Got my DI special. We have a clock in the room. Yes, Alex.
Suppose we get rid of this like gray stuff I've got in the middle here.
Yeah. How do you get rid of that? That's a great question. Basically, that's your well layout.
Right.
So you could either change the well layout you want to use to a different one, or you can go and edit, like the exercise had you do, to get rid of that. So you're using the one that they had you create.
Yeah.
You can change it back to that GR-RT that doesn't have it, or you can go back and edit yours and take out that depth grid. It was a depth grid I think it had you add. So what those lines are, they're just showing you a grid that marks much finer the intervals between each of the wells. But yes, you can get rid of it. Okay? So we good? I haven't told you anything, but that's okay. You've got instructions. Go through the manual. If you got questions, call us. We'll try and keep it going here. So the 1.3, 1.4, 1.6. Now what I said? Okay, for Thursday. Oh, we didn't even have time to go over your literature. We missed that. Thursday, first thing. Are you going to be here Thursday, John?
I don't have anybody sign up for interviews.
Can you block out a half an hour for us?
I can see if that's enabled.
Huh?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I actually just sign up and I go check.
Yes, that's true. I'll sign up and you can do mine.
That's 3 hours.
Well, I only need for about a half an hour. I need a half hour block. Okay. So this gives you an opportunity to get with your teammates and go over the list that you guys have generated of literature. I suggest you do that. Okay. So pick me a half an hour. And we will make time for John. We're just going to have them talk about their papers and literature they found. I want them to look at you as a source for the ADM project. And that's May and Ben and Alex. I think it's Alex W. Alex 2. Alex Barrow. I got 2 Alexes in a 6-person class. How does that happen?
Great name.
It is. Okay, gentlemen and lady, I appreciate your time. I will see you on Thursday.
Yeah.